Good morning, dear students. I hope all of you are fine at your home. So, now I'm going to ask you some simple questions. So, try to answer those questions. Are you familiar with me? Do you remember my name? Do you remember which subject I am taking? And do you remember which is our first chapter? Do you remember which are the topics we have been discussed yet? So, for the first four questions, it would be easy to answer, right? And for the final question, the question about the topics, when I asked this question, I think all of you would be got stuck for a while. You would be got stuck in this position, like this position. Why are you stuck in this position? Because you are remembering, you are trying to remember which are the topics we have been discussed yet. So what happened? All other questions are easily answered at the instant. But for the last question, when I asked that question, you think for a while and you realized that you have been forgotten some of the topics we have been taken. You don't have an exact idea of which are the topics we have been taken yet. Clear? So what happens why it is happening? So all other questions, the four questions before was easily answered, and for the final question you got stuck. Let us check what happened there. You answered the first question. You are familiar with me. Why you are familiar with me? Because on every week you are facing me for at least 2 times. So you are familiar with my face. And you know my name because while our classes there would be my name on the video. On the side of the video you can see my name, so that you are repeatedly seeing my name, so that it would be stored in your memory. You know my name, that's why you know my name. Clear? And you know I am dealing with mathematics because on every time I am discussing about the topic or subject mathematics, so you know I am taking the subject mathematics. Clear? And you also know we are discussing our first chapter, knowing our numbers. This is our first chapter. And how did you know that, or how did you remember that our chapter is knowing our numbers? Because every classes at start there would be the chapter heading on our board, right? That's why you also remember the chapter name or which chapter we are taking now, we are running with now. Clear? And for the final question, you cannot answer exactly or perfectly the final question. Why did it so? Because in all other cases you have been repeatedly experiencing things. Clear? You are seeing me again and again. Repeatedly you are seeing me. Repeatedly you are hearing me. Repeatedly you are studying mathematics from me. Clear? Repeatedly we are dealing with our chapter, knowing our numbers. Clear? But the difference is that each time I would be in front of you with different topics. Clear? We are dealing with different topics on different days. Clear? We are not repeating the same topic every day or every sessions. That's why you are not capable of remembering the topics we have been discussed. So what we can understand from this is that in order to remember things or in order to stock things on your brain, on your memory, we need to repeatedly do that things, or you need to be repeatedly familiar with that things. Clear? This is what is the importance of revision. This is why we need to revise every topics we have been studied. So all of you need to save some time for revision of our topics that have been already studied. Clear? Now you understood about the importance of revision. So every day you should have to schedule some time, a definite interval of time for your revision. Clear? So now let's begin to continue our chapter. Look at here. We have been discussing about our first chapter, knowing our numbers. And out of this chapter, these much of topics have been discussed. Which are those topics we have been discussed yet? What is about natural numbers and all numbers. First of all, we have been discussed about natural numbers and all numbers. On the second, we have been discussed about place value charts. Don't you remember? On place value charts, we have been discussed about two place value charts, two types of place value charts. Which are the Indian place value chart and international place value chart. Then we discussed about comparison of large numbers. On comparison of large numbers, which are the things we have been discussed? We have been discussed about the concept of successor, then about predecessor. Then we studied the method of comparing very large numbers. Clear? This much about the topics we have been discussed yet. And today we would be discussing about Roman numerals. Now we are going to familiar with Roman numerals. This is the topic going to be discussed today. Listen students, suppose I am telling you to write your standard or your division, your class and your division, or just your class to represent on a paper. I am just telling you to write your class, to represent your class on a paper. Then there are two possibilities. You can be doing that in two different manner. Clear? Somebody of you would be written your class. Which class you are studying? You are studying in the 6th standard, right? And many of you would be writing your class or representing your class like this. Or some others would be representing your class like this. Clear? Some others would be representing your class like this. So, anyway, whether you represented like this or you represented like this, both of them means you are studying in 6th standard. Both of them means you are studying in 6th standard, which means this symbol and this symbol represent the number. This is the number, represent the number 6. 6 is the number. And that number 6 can be represented in two different ways by using different symbols. Clear? Here is one of the symbol for 6 and here is another symbol for 6. Clear? And the symbols that we used to represent numbers are called numerals. So what are numerals? Numerals are symbols that are used to represent numbers. Clear? And we can use different symbols for representing all the numbers. Clear? And here we got to study about a new number system or a new numerals, new type of numeration system that we are going to study now. Clear? This type of numeration system that we have already familiar with, and this type of numeration system are called Hindu-Arabic numerals. They are called Hindu-Arabic numerals. What is the peculiarity of Hindu-Arabic numerals? In Hindu-Arabic numerals, we use how many symbols? We use 10 symbols. Which are them? The symbols like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and finally 9. These are the 10 symbols used in Hindu-Arabic numerals for representing all the type of numbers. Clear? And here there is another type of symbols that are used for representing numbers. Clear? And this kind of representation is known to be Roman numerals. These are called Roman numerals. Do you know why it is called Roman numeral and why it is called Hindu-Arabic numerals? This is called Roman numerals because these were being started from Rome, ancient Rome. Rome is a place, and from where it is initiated, from where it is generated. Clear? From where it is developed. And similarly, this kind of numerals are called Hindu-Arabic numerals because these were developed from India and Arabia, like the countries. Clear? Like the areas. There were from these type of numerals have been developed. And we are already familiar with these type of numerals. Now we are going to study about Roman numerals. First of all, we need to discuss about the symbols, the basic symbols used in Roman numerals. We can represent all the numbers. We can represent all the numbers both in Hindu-Arabic numeral and Roman numerals. Any number can also be represented in Roman numerals. But for representing numbers in Roman numeral, if you want to study representation of numbers or writing numbers in Roman numerals, first of all you should have to be familiar with which are the symbols used in Roman numerals. Then you should have to understand about the rules that are used in Roman numerals while writing numbers. Clear? So now we are going to discuss about those two things. Clear? So now we are going to discuss about those two things. Which things? discussing about which are the symbols used in Roman numerals, and then we would discuss about the rules for writing numbers in Roman numerals. Clear? As you know, in Hindu Arabic numerals, how many symbols are there used? There are 10 symbols. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Clear? Whereas in Roman numerals, there is only 7 symbols. There is only 7 symbols. And these 7 symbols can be arranged in different manner to get all the type of numbers, to write all the type of numbers. First of all, we are going to familiar with those 7 symbols used in Roman numerals. Clear? The first one is this I. Clear? And this I is actually equal to 1 in Indian Indo-Arabic numerals. Clear? The next one is V, and this is actually equal to 5 in Hindu-Arabic numerals. The next one is X, and this X is exactly equal to 10 of Hindu-Arabic numerals. Then there is L. This L actually represents 50 in Hindu-Arabic numerals. The next one C. Can you say which is the value of C? It is equal to 100. What would be D? D would be equal to 500. And next the M, that is equivalent to 1000. Clear? So these are the 7 symbols used in Roman numerals, and their corresponding value in Hindu-Arabic numerals also you should have to remember. Also you should have to study, because you are already familiar with the Hindu-Arabic numerals. And if you want to study the Roman numerals, you must be having an idea between the Hindu-Arabic and the corresponding Roman numeral values. Clear? Now let's discuss about the rules, the basic rules that have to be followed while writing Roman numerals. Clear? So here comes the first and basic rule, which is that, read it. When a symbol occurs more than once, when a symbol occurs more than once, add its value that many times. Add its value that many times. Let us check it. Here is an example. Here is a number given for you in Roman numerals. Clear? And XXX, that is the given number. And let's find what would be the value of this number in Hindu-Arabic numerals. Here, this X, this 1X represents, we have been already studied that this 1X represents 10. Clear? And this 10 or this X is repeated how many times? This X is repeated 1, 2, 3 times. So what we have to do is we need to add that value. How many times? 3 times. Clear? The value of X is 10. This is repeating for 3 times. So that we have to add 3 times the value 10. It would be 10 plus 10 plus 10. It would be the answer 30. So the number 30 can be represented in Roman numerals like this. Clear? Now there is another number given for you. Here also you can see repetition. Repetition of which symbol? The symbol I. And you know that the value of this I is 1. So that this would be 1. And how many times this 1 is repeating? It is repeating for 3 times. So that you should have to add 1 how many times? The same 3 times. So that the value of this number is obtained now as 3. Clear? So this represents 3 and this represents 30. How did you reach on this final answer? By using this basic rule, the first rule. Which is the first rule? If when a symbol is occurring more than once, you should have to add the value of that number or that symbol that much times. If a symbol is occurring 3 times, repeating 3 times, you should have to add value of that symbol 3 times, the same 3 times. Clear? This is the rule, the first rule. Now look at the second rule for writing Roman numerals. Now look at the second rule for writing Roman numerals. Here is the second rule. A symbol can be repeated a maximum of how many times? 3 times. In the first rule we have been already understood that the symbols can be repeated. Clear? But there is restriction, there is limitation. A symbol can be repeated only how many times? 3 times. Clear? This is the second rule. So by applying this rule, we can find the value of this number. This x represents 10 and it is repeating 2 times. So that the first x can be written as 10. Again repeating, so we need to add plus. Again there is x, so its value also would be 10. Again plus 1, this I represent 1, this I represent 1, this I represent 1. So that the total value would be 1 plus 1 plus 1, which would be the answer. 10 plus 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. This would be the number 23. Clear? So the value is 23. I hope the second rule is clear now. Here comes the third rule on writing Roman numerals. And which is the rule? If a symbol of smaller value is written after a number with greater value, what we should have to do? Then it is added to the greater number. Actually, this rule indicates that there is importance for ordering. Clear? There is importance for order of the arrangement of symbols while writing numbers in Roman numerals. And this rule says that if we are writing a smaller number or smaller symbol after a larger number, then we should have to add those two numbers. Let's take an example. Here is a symbol given for you, L and thereafter X. You know that L represents 50 and X represents 10. So it is true that L is greater. Clear? So that after the smaller is arrived, on the right side of L there is X and X represents 10. So this is greater and after there is a smaller. If this kind of arrangement is arrived, then we should have to add those two. Greater than smaller, then we have to add those two values. What is the value of L? 50. Again we can write plus. Then what is the value of X? It is 10. So that this would become 50 plus 10, which is 60. So for representing the number 60, you must have to write like this. If you write like this, X and then L, then it would not represent 60. Clear? So this is what I am indicated, that there is importance for order. First greater, then smaller. Then only we have to add those two, so that it would become 60. Clear? So what would be the, if you understand this rule, then tell me which would be the value of this number. You know that D represents you know that D represents 500. Clear? Again there is C. C represents 100. And 500 or 100, which is greater? 500 is greater. And thereafter 100 comes. So we should have to add that 100. And how many hundreds are there? There are two repetitions. So that we have to add 100 the two times. Again, finally there is V. And this V is equal to 5. So that which would be the value of this number? 500 plus 100, 600 plus 100, 700 plus 5, 705. This would be the value. Clear? Now here comes the last rule. So read it carefully. This rule is just the opposite, just the reverse of the third rule. Clear? And read it carefully. If a symbol of the smaller value symbol is written before the number, is written before in front of, before the number with greater value. So there is a greater value, and before of that there is a smaller value symbol. Clear? Then what we have to do? Then it is subtracted. Then that smaller value is subtracted from the greater number. This is the fourth rule. What does it mean? Let us check it out. Here is a number given for you. And you know that this I is equal to 1. And this V is equal to 5. So this V is greater, and before that there is a smaller. So what we have to do? We have to subtract the smaller from the greater. Which is the greater value? 5. Clear? And then subtraction, because on the left of 5 there is smaller one, and we have to subtract that. How can you subtract? 5 minus, which is the value of this I? 1. 5 minus 1 would be 4. So this would represent the number 4. Now let's complete this also. Here you see this X represent 10 and this C represent 100. So C is greater, and before that there is a smaller. What we can do? Greater minus smaller. Clear? What is the value of this C, greater number? It is 100. Then minus, what is the value of this smaller? It is 10. So this number represents 100 minus 10, which is 90. Clear? Now easily find this. This C is 100 and this M is 1000. Clear? So here is the greater, and before it is smaller. So you should have to subtract greater minus smaller. M represent 1000. Then minus C represent 100. 1000 minus 100, which would be 900. So this number represents 900. So I hope you all of you understand about the 4 basic rules on writing Roman numerals, on representing numbers based upon Roman numerals. Now let's do some activities or problems related with these concepts. Subtract 10 from 50. Subtract x from L. So that again we are putting a plus sign. And what we are going to do is, first of all we have to do subtraction. 10 from 50, which means 50 minus 10. Clear? So this is over. Again there is problem. This I represents 1 and this x represents 10. Again there is smaller, thereafter larger, or before larger there is a smaller. Here also we need subtraction. So what we can do? Again we put a plus symbol. Then we put a bracket. And on that bracket there is a small subtraction you should have to do. Which kind of subtraction? Larger minus smaller. The larger is 10 minus the smaller is 1. Clear? So what would be the answer? Final answer. Let's add it. This is 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus. What would be 50 minus 10? It would be 40. Again there is plus. Now do this. 10 minus 1. It is 9. Clear? Now just want to add these to get the answer. What would be the final answer? 100 plus 100, 200 plus 100, 300 plus 40, 340. Then 9, 349. This would be the corresponding Hindu-Arabic numerals. Clear? Now let's do the third question. I'm going to erase this. Okay. Now we are doing the third question. Okay. Just pause the video and do it by yourself. Let's check it out whether you are capable of doing this. So just pause the video and try to do it. Okay, now let's check it out. Here it is D. What is the value of D? The D represents 500. Again there is plus. This is 10. So I put 10. Again plus 10. This also represents 10. And again there is 10. This also represents 10. Again I am putting a plus sign. Now look at here. This is like a pair. Which kind of pair? Smaller than greater, or smaller number is before the greater. If it is before, smaller is before, then there is subtraction needed. Clear? So just put a bracket and subtract. Subtract which from which? Subtract 1 from 5. 5 minus 1. Clear? So that what would be the final answer? 500 plus 10, 510 plus 10, 520 plus 10, 530 plus 5 minus 1 would be 4. 530 plus 4, 534. This would be the Hindu-Arabic numeral for this number. Clear? Now, here is the fourth question. We can do it. Let's do it. Come on. This M represents 1000. This is 1000. This is 500. This is 5. And this is 1. You can see that these symbols are in increasing order, in decreasing order. Clear? Larger to smaller. So just need to add everyone. There is no subtraction because there is no smaller than larger. Clear? If there is smaller to larger, then only we have to do subtraction. So here everywhere it is larger to smaller. So we need only addition of the values of each symbols. Clear? M represent 1000. So first of all it would be 1000. Plus D represent 500. Then 500. Again plus V represent 5. Again plus this I represent 1. What would be the answer? Tell me. 1500 plus 5 plus 1. 1500 and 5 plus 1 would be 6. 1506 would be the answer. I hope you clear. Here comes the reverse type of questions. In the previous questions, we have been discussed how we shall write or convert Roman numerals into Hindu-Arabic numerals. And here it is given for you the Hindu-Arabic numerals. And you should have to convert those into Roman numerals. Let's check it out how this can be done. Clear? So look at the first question. Here is a number given for you 67. You should have to convert this into Roman numerals. First of all, I am going to split up into different parts. And all those parts can be written by using Roman numerals. Clear? That is what we required. So I am going to split this number. This 67 is splitting as the greatest number that can be written would be 50 here. Clear? Then there needs a 10. 50 plus 10 would become 60. Then we need 7. But we cannot write 7 directly. Clear? We cannot write 7 directly in Roman numerals. So we can say that this 7 can be split as 5. 5 can be written in Roman numerals. Clear? Then after 5, again I am writing 1. Again 1. So that 50 plus 10, 60. 60 plus 5, 65. 66, 67. Now, how this can be converted into Roman numerals? Let's check it out. This 50 can be represented by the letter L. Then 10. On the right, you should have to represent 10. And it can be done by X. Then 5. Like this, V. Clear? Then 1 is represented as I. And how many times this 1 is repeating? 2 times. So you should have to put 2 I's. So that this Roman numeral represents the number 67. Clear? I hope you clear now. Now let's do the second one. Look at here. This is an important question because here we need to subtract somewhere. Clear? So let's do it. Listen carefully. This 92. First of all, we should have to split this 92. And I am splitting this 92 as 90 plus 2. Clear? Again, this 90 cannot be written directly using Roman numerals. Clear? So this 90 has to be converted to some other forms that can be written by Roman numerals. This 90 can be written as 100 minus 10. Is that clear? This 90 is 100 minus 10. Whenever there is minus, put those things in a bracket. Clear? Then again I need plus 2. Clear? Now this can be easily represented by using Roman numerals. How this can be represented? This 100 can be represented by the letter C. But here we need to subtract 10 from it. Clear? To subtract 10 means you should have to represent this 10 before of this greater 100. So that this would be, here it would be 10. This represents 90. Again you should have to add 2. Add 2. 1, 2. This would be equal to 92. I hope you understand. Once more, let us check it out. Here it is 92. First of all, you should have to write it as, split up it as 90 plus 2. And we cannot write 90 directly using Roman numerals. So, converted that 90 as 100 minus 10. Because for 100 and also for 10 there is symbol in Roman numerals. Clear? Then finally plus 2. This 100 can be represented as C. And it is subtraction. So this 10 must be on the left of C. So that here it is 10. Then there is plus 2. Plus 2 is added. So that this would become 92. Clear? Here is another number to convert into Roman numerals. So let's do it. The given number is 746. First of all, I am going to split those numbers. 746 means 746. 700 plus 40 plus 6. Clear? Now, this 700. Is it possible to write 700 directly by using Roman numerals? No, we are not possible of that. Clear? So this 700 again has to be changed. This 700 easily can be changed as 500 plus 100 plus 100. Look at here, 500. There is representation for 500 in Roman numerals. 100 also has a symbol. Clear? So this total 700 can be represented like this in Roman numerals. Easily we can represent. Then there is 40. How can you represent 40? The 40 can be represented as 50 minus 10. And you know that wherever minus comes, you should have to put a bracket. And on that bracket there would be 50 minus 10. This is 40. Again you should have to add 6. Clear? Now this 500 can be represented by the symbol, which is the symbol representing 500. It is D. Clear? Then 100, it is C. Again there is a 100. That also represented by C. Then now here is the bracket part. It is 50 minus 10. 50 minus 10 means first of all 10. Then 50. This is 50 minus 10. Greater number is 50 and before that we should have to write 10. So before 10 then 50. Now the last one is 6. How can you represent 6? 6 can be in bracket, it can be 5 plus 1. How can you write? Here is a 5, then there is a 1. Clear? So this would represent 746. So I hope you clear. Now you are clear about converting Roman numerals into Hindu-Arabic numerals as well as Hindu-Arabic numerals into Roman numerals. Clear? Now let's do some other kind of problems. Here is another type of question. Compare the numbers using greater than or lesser than symbols. Clear? How can you compare the numbers using greater than or lesser than symbol? You should have to write the two numbers, and in between those two numbers you should have to put either of these symbols accordingly. Clear? First of all, you should have to consider the value of these two numbers. Clear? So let's check it out. What is this number means? This number is equal to, you look at here, this is smaller, then this is larger. Clear? So before larger it is smaller, so we should have to subtract. So this would be, this is 10 minus this is 1, and it is equal to 9. Clear? Now what is the value of this number? This is 10, larger, and after there is smaller. We should have to add. Larger to smaller, we should have to add. How can you do that? 10 plus 1, it is 11. So here it is 9 and here it is 11. Which one is greater? 11 is greater. So the greater symbol, the mouth opening like part, must be facing towards this 11. So that here we can place this symbol, which is less than symbol. Who is less? Who is less? 9 is less than 11. Clear? 9 less than 11. This is the answer. So here there are two more numbers to compare. Let us do it. Clear? So what is the value of this number? X, then V. Clear? X is 10, V is 5. So that this would be 10 plus 5. Which is the answer? 15. Clear? Now what is the value of this one? This is 5 and thereafter 3 ones. 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and it is 8. Clear? So here it is 15 and here it is 8. Which one is greater? 15 is greater. So the mouth opening like part would be facing towards 15, so that it would be, the symbol would be like this. Clear? How it can be read? 15 greater than 8. 15 greater than 8. Clear? So this is the answer. Now let's do it. The next problem. This D represent 500 and C represent 100. Which one is greater? 500 is greater. So the mouth opening like ant must be faced towards 500. Clear? So that it would be like this. D greater than C, or 500 greater than 100. Clear? So that's all about our today's topic, today's session. Clear? I hope you are all clear about Roman numerals. Once again, I remember you the importance of revision. Clear? Don't forget to revise all the topics we have been taken yet. Revise it again and again. Clear? And store it in your memory, or store it in your brain as a long-term memory. Clear? Now there would be an exam for you. After this first chapter there would be an exam, a unit test for you. Clear? So prepare well. Be ready for writing exam at any moment from here onwards. Clear? And wish you all the best. See you in the next class. Bye bye.